Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So we are going to continue the series of the modern Indian history. So in that we'll see the unit 2, the extension of British rule. So we are going to study about extension of British rule. So let us start. This is all about me, graduation in electronics and instrumentation engineering. So just check it, right? So okay, here is the introduction part. So let us start. Through the Carnatic War, English had made other European countries not to challenge them in India. So we already learned that the Carnatic War, which has happened between the English and French people, and the English people have defeated the French, and they have challenged them, and they showed that European countries not to challenge them in India, right? Any other European country do not challenge them in India. So that was, they have shown the Carnatic War. They gained complete political control over Bengal through Plassey and Buxar battles, right? They defeated Siraj-ud-Dowla and Mir Qasim and Mir Jafar, and they have taken a complete administration of Bengal through Plassey and Buxar battle, right? But British people still, they are having a challenge because Maratha and Mysore are very strong in India, and they were dominant to southern and western part of India. The hold of British was restricted to Bengal and Bombay region only. Hyder Ali, Tipu Sultan of Mysore, along with the Peshwas of Maratha, were the only impediments in the path of the expansion for the British, right? The Maratha people and the Mysore, right? The Maratha king and the Mysore king is the only very difficult for British people, right? They are the strong opponent or the strong contenders, you can tell, right? So it is very big challenge for the English people to take hold over them. Okay, so I'll come back to this. So first Anglo-Maratha War. So you can see here, the first Anglo-Maratha War started from the year 1775 to 1782. It has been ended. So why this Anglo-Maratha War has happened? So we'll just check here. So it happened because there is a post called Peshwa. So Peshwa is a post, it's like a prime minister post at that time. So Balaji Vishwanath is the first Peshwa of Maratha, and his two sons, Chimaji Appa and Balaji Rao, right? Balaji Rao, sorry, Baji Rao. Baji Rao's son is Balaji Rao, Balaji Baji Rao, and his son was Madhav Rao. Up to this, it is going nice. When Madhav Rao will die, so when Madhav Rao will die, so there was a strong contender, right? So Madhav Narayan Rao second, he will tell that he will become a Peshwa, whereas Raghuram Rao will tell that I am the son of the Baji Rao and I am the strong contender and I want to become a Peshwa. So this is what exactly English people wanted, and Raghuram Rao took help from the English, and he attacked the Madhav Rao, right? So this is all about the first Anglo-Maratha War. You can see here, Madhav Rao too and Nana Fadnavis. So Nana Fadnavis, supported, is an old man and supported to Madhav Rao too, and Raghuram supported by British people. A long war from 1775 to 1782 between Maratha and British. The Maratha, unable to sustain the war with the British, finally entered a Salbai agreement and ended the war. So Madhav Rao too was named as a Peshwa. Okay, what is the result, right? Why the first Anglo-Maratha War happened? Because of the post for the Peshwa, right? So there were two strong contenders. Raghuram will tell that I want to become a Peshwa, whereas Madhav Rao will tell that I am the eligible person to become a Peshwa, whereas British people helped the Raghuram and the Nana Fadnavis helped the Madhav Rao. So the long war happened between 1775 to 1782 between Maratha and the British. So Maratha, unable to sustain the war with the British, finally entered Salbai agreement and ended the war. So Madhav Rao too was named as the Peshwa. So this is all about the first Anglo-Maratha War. So now let us study about the second Anglo-Maratha War, which is started from 1803 and ended 1805. The difference among the Marathas' chieftains was the reason for this war. So what is the reason? There was an internal matter, right? The Maratha people internal matter. So Balaji Rao too is a weak ruler. He took help from British Governor Lord Wellesley and signed the subsidiary alliance system by accepting the Treaty of Passing. So this is the main reason. So what happened? Balaji Rao too is a very weak ruler, whereas the other Marathas, right, Gwalior, Shinde, and Holkar, they are very strong, right? So Balaji Rao feels that he may lose right? He's a very he is a very weak ruler, so he signed the subsidiary alliance. In coming classes we'll study about the subsidiary alliance, right? So he signed the subsidiary alliance, and this got other Maratha empires got angry, right? They all together attacked the Balaji Rao, right? So other Maratha families like Holkar, Gwalior, Bhosle formed an alliance opposing this treaty. So Lord Wellesley defeated the armies various Maratha families from 1803 to 1805. So this is what all about the second Anglo-Maratha war. So you can see the entire, how big the Maratha empire was there. This is the full Maratha empire, right? Nagpur is here, right? So you can see, this is what exactly the big empire of Maratha war. So third Anglo-Maratha war. So why the reason for the third Anglo-Maratha war? The Maratha families tried their best to protect their independence and honor, because Maratha was a very big empire, and so there was a, each Maratha empire, they have divided themselves. So now they felt that it's our honor and independence, so we have to fight against the English. The Peshwa attacked the British residency in Pune and burned it, right? The Peshwa Bajirao too fought against the British at Koregaon and Asti, and later surrendered to the British. The British abolished the Peshwa post and granted a pension to Bajirao too. So they got headache with the Peshwa post, and they told that finally we'll finish this Peshwa post only, and they have ended the third Anglo-Maratha war. So what is the reason for the third Anglo-Maratha war? Because Maratha peoples, they wanted their independence and honor, because for their prestige. So they Peshwa attacked the British residency in Pune and burned it, right? So afterwards, Peshwa Bajirao too, he surrendered himself, and afterwards, what is the effect of third Anglo-Maratha war? So British people, they have abolished the Peshwa post. So this is all about the third Anglo-Maratha war. And now let us study about the subsidiary alliance. So what is exactly subsidiary alliance? Lord Wellesley brought this policy into effect in 1798 in order to bring the Indian states under the control. This was basically a military protection agreement between the East India Company and the Indian states. So what is subsidiary alliance? Subsidiary alliance is an agreement, right? When any empire or any kingdom, when they will sign this agreement, so what happens? The British people will give their army, and British people are going to protect the entire. So they are going to protect the entire kingdom, right? So, and the kingdom do not they don't have their own army, so right, these British people are going to provide them army, right? The condition for the subsidiary alliance, the Indian king had to keep the British army in his kingdom, right? So Indian king, he should not keep his own army, so he has to keep the British army in his kingdom. The concerned state had to bear the expense of the army, right? Whatever charges for the British army, so what happened? The concerned state has to pay for them. The king could not appoint any other European without permission, right? The king is not having any authority to appoint any other Europeans without the permission of the English people. This is what all about the subsidiary alliance. The Anglo-Sikh wars, see the Anglo-Sikh war, why it happened. So what happened when these British people have attacked to the Afghanistan, and they lost, right? When they have attacked to the Afghanistan, they lost, right? For the prestige reason, right? They want to show that we are also still a great warriors, right? So they attacked this Sikhs, right? A political anarchy broke out in Punjab after the death of Ranjit Singh. You can see a Ranjit Singh, right? The British attempted to invade Punjab, violating the country's continuous friendship pact they had with Eastwell King, and the people of Punjab attacked, right? Finally, Dalhousie merged the state of Punjab with the British Empire. So Anglo-Sikh War, it is a political anarchy broke out in Punjab after the death of Ranjit Singh in 1839. The British attempted to invade Punjab, violating the countries of continuous friendship pact they had with the Eastwell King, and people of Punjab defeated. Finally, Dalhousie merged state of Punjab with the British Empire. Okay, this is all about the Anglo-Sikh War. Now we'll see the very, very important part. So that is what Dalhousie and doctrine of lapse. You can see a Dalhousie doctrine of lapse. If any Indian ruler dies without children, their adopted children had no legal rights over the throne. That means if any, for example, Jhansi, when Jhansi do not have her own child and any adopted son, so adopted son is not eligible to take the kingship, right? He is not eligible to become a king, right? So doctrine of lapse: if any Indian ruler dies without a children, their adopted children had no legal right over the throne. So this is what the famous story about the Jhansi, मैं अपनी झांसी नहीं दूंगी, right? So this will come under the doctrine of lapse. So princely states like following came under this policy: Satara, Nagpur, Udaipur and Jhansi. I'll repeat once again what is doctrine of lapse: if any Indian ruler dies without children, their adopted children had no legal rights over the throne. So which are the states came under this? Satara, Nagpur, Udaipur and Jhansi. Okay, so I hope you people understood. So thank you so much for watching this. So please keep learning and share my video, and click the like button if it will really motivate me. Thank you everyone. Thanks a lot.